What is up, Flick fans? Oh, looks like we got a ghost. And he's got a knife. What's up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to my channel. We have a ghost. It's the title of the movie. Today we're going to talk about it. Is it worth your time? And is David Harbour spooky? Let's do it. Finding a ghost named Ernest haunting their new home turns Kevin's family into overnight social media sensations. But when Kevin and Ernest investigate the mystery of Ernest's past, they become a target of the CIA. Already getting E.T. vibes from this premise. This movie is rated PG-13. For language, some sexual and suggestive references, and violence. And it's directed by Christopher Landon. You'll recognize that name from movies like Happy Death Day and Freaky. Two films that I actually really enjoyed, and he's been a writer on other films, some of which in the paranormal activity world. So he has experience writing ghost stories, most of them scary, but movies like Happy Death Day and Freaky have this comedic tone to them that I was hoping would transfer over to this film. Jahi Winston is our main character in Kevin, but David Harbour, you could argue, is kind of the focus of the movie, even though he only really has like one or two lines of actual dialogue. He is silent for most of the film. And that was a decision that I heard about before watching this movie. I was excited for, but at the same time, I'm like, that feels like a waste of David Harbour. You get his expressions, his emotions. I think he does a great job emoting as the ghost. It's a completely different thing and different movie, but it kind of reminds me of when they cast Nicolas Cage in Willy's Wonderland, but made him really quiet and not very expressive to where he barely talked in that movie. And I'm like, oh, you're just wasting Cage's talents. In this film, David Harbour, he does a nice job with the emotional scenes, but him not saying anything is almost wasting his talents. And it almost feels like he is a draw, yet he doesn't necessarily deliver in the movie because the film doesn't give him the opportunity to. And really, the script doesn't give a lot of these actors the opportunity to flesh out their acting chops. So the performances are fine. I really didn't have an issue with any of them. So overall, I don't know if the acting is the problem. Christopher Landon has nice sensibilities when it comes to the direction, but in this movie specifically, I felt as if he could have done more. I didn't quite get the nice blend of horror themes, comedic themes coming together, creating this perfect marriage like I had hoped to, because I saw this trailer and I said, you know what, that could be fun. It looks kind of silly. You have cursing in this movie, people flipping other people off, yet there are other scenes where it felt like a Disney Channel original movie, where it gets so cheesy and so overly ridiculous and characters say things. I'm just like, this line of dialogue doesn't match what you were just doing 3 scenes ago that felt so serious and so emotional. And there's a great emotional backstory with Ernest and his character here, one that is really explored in the final few scenes of the movie. And you get those moments, and I won't lie, there's one scene at the end that kind of got to me, and David Harbour, it doesn't matter if he talks or not, right? He's going to show everything he needs to show. He does a great job as always, but again, that remains inconsistent throughout the rest of the movie, because what this family gets themselves into and the rise on social media and the idea that this ghost actually exists, and of course the government's going to come in. What movie does this remind me of? Oh yeah, it feels like E.T. It feels like a modern-day E.T. with a paranormal twist, but it does not have the heart, nor charm, nor script, nor dialogue, nor tonal consistency to really be compared to E.T. So why did I do it just now? No, it makes sense, right? It's kind of like E.T. combined with Beetlejuice. This family befriends this ghost, and there are so many outside forces after it. Tig Notaro plays one of those outside forces. You also have Jennifer Coolidge in here in what I would consider a bigger cameo, not an integral part of the movie. Some of these side characters, when the CIA begins to question this family, come after them, you get those overly serious moments. You combine that with this sense of humor that, again, just feels kind of all over the place throughout the movie. There are jokes and gags. It's not a pure over-the-top comedy, so it's not intending on making you belly laugh, but there are moments that could have made me chuckle, but instead I'm just like, you know. And those are the scenes. Those are the moments that kind of made me feel like I was watching a Netflix original movie, and I compared this to Disney Channel, and you know what I'm talking about when I say that. Cheesy, over the top. Some of the visuals don't necessarily work extremely well, although I will say the ghost effects and having that paranormal look to him were very consistent throughout the entire movie. I thought the cinematography was fine, a bit over the top, like this movie kind of requires, and Landon is a good director. I also believe Landon is a pretty good writer, but in this case, The tone was so inconsistent. I thought the pacing was off at points. It moved very fast, and in other moments I'm like, why are we slowing down all of a sudden? And it was just a very inconsistent experience for me. It is one that families, and it's a Netflix movie, right? You turn on, you kind of enjoy, you can throw it on in the background. It's sweet, it's charming. I think the kids will somewhat enjoy it. But at the same time, I mentioned this, suggestive sexual references, language. Do you want your kids to watch this without you if you're a parent and they're under the age of 13? That is a good example of not for sure knowing who your audience is, because some parts of the movie appeal to kids, other parts appeal to more of the teenage adult world. Before I give you my score, do you have a ghost? And if you do, what's his or her name? I do. His name is Jeremiah. He's cool. While tonally inconsistent and full of overly ridiculous moments, We Have a Ghost does have some charm to it. Harbor thrives with what he is given, but it does feel as if his talents were slightly wasted. All in all, I'm going to 52% with my score. It's a movie that I'll never find myself watching again. It, like I said, has that charm to it, but it just didn't necessarily come together for me, and I'll probably forget about it by next week. But I need to know, what did you think? Is this a film that you can throw on and have some fun with while you're doing dishes and just let it play in the background? That's what a lot of these kinds of movies are. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later today.